Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. When it comes to Clash in Paris, at first glance, when I look at the card on paper, I'm a little bit concerned. And so are many of you, because I haven't seen this much pessimism for a WWE Premium Live event in quite some time. So for today's video, I asked you, what could possibly ruin Clash in Paris 2025 for you? So we're gonna go through a bunch of the different submissions that you guys sent in. We're gonna comment on them and tell you whether or not it would also ruin the show for me as well. As always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm incredibly confident that you're going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. And no, I don't work for Logan Paul or Team Prime. I just happen to have this shirt and I thought it was cool. And he's main eventing, so I thought it was appropriate. By the way, don't forget, if you do want more than just the daily wrestling content that we do here, come check out the Patreon, patreon.com/SantiZap. Over there, we will be doing the Clash in Paris review live with footage so that you can see exactly frame by frame what it is that I ended up liking or hating about the show. So go check it out. Link in the description, link in the pinned comment. All right, that's enough. Let's see what negativity you guys sent in today. It's already been ruined by a lackluster card with no Dom versus AJ, only one women's match, etc. Just a fairly boring card overall. So normally when I make these videos, the bulk of the answers are people giving an elaborate scenario where if that scenario were to play out, it would ruin the experience of the show for them. However, weirdly enough, for Clash in Paris, I've been getting a lot of this. A lot of people saying that the show is already ruined going into it. Now, to those people, I say, just be patient. Let's say that the show is ruined after they actually ruined the show, because it's possible that they might end up pulling out an amazing show, kind of similar to how NXT just made Heatwave a match card that looked kind of boring on paper and turned out to be one of their best shows of the year. But I totally get where people are coming from, and I do think it comes from a place of new expectations being set because of Evolution that happened in July, where WWE was able to deliver a proper 7-match card without any of the matches feeling like they were rushed, while making all of the matches feel special. And now going back to only 5 matches feels a little bit lackluster. But then you also tack on the fact that only one of the 3 main world titles in the main roster are being defended, and you can see why people feel like this card feels rather underwhelming. But obviously the most criminal thing is, and the one thing that almost everybody wrote in about, was the fact that AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio is not going to be on the card. Yes, it's still going to be in Paris on Monday Night Raw, but it's not going to be the same. And not having it in Clash in Paris really does sap a lot of the excitement that people had going into this show, because one of the fond memories that people have about the last time that they were in France was AJ Styles in front of that PLE crowd going absolutely bananas, apparently anointing AJ Styles as their new god. And now we won't get that. Now that excitement has to be shifted for the night afterwards, and it does take a lot of that from Clash in Paris. I really firmly believe that AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio should have been at Clash in Paris. I know there's arguments to be made that because they're going to main event Raw, that it might end up being more memorable, that they might get more time. And I think that those are all totally fair arguments, but it doesn't change the fact that not having that match on the card hurts Clash in Paris. Clash in Paris is one of those unique cards where a lot of people are going to be tuning in because of the crowd. The crowd in itself is a show to watch and enjoy, and removing AJ Styles from the show like kind of kills like the coolest thing that crowd is known for, which is the phenomenal song and dance. So again, it's going to be on Raw. That's cool, but it hurts Clash in Paris. This might be a little niche, but not having Wade Barrett on commentary. The only reason I'm saying this is because I want to see how Wade will be during Sheamus versus Rusev and what he will say. We haven't seen Rusev and him interact, and I wonder if Rusev will do something to him. I didn't even really clue into that. Of course, that would be 3 of the 4 members of the most famous faction of all time, the League of Nations, being in the same room at the same time. Of course, I want to see that interaction. I will say, I think having Wade Barrett would be a nice thing to have, but for me, it's not a must-have. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm one of those people where commentary doesn't necessarily make or break the experience for me. I don't have a favorite commentary team. I don't have a guy that if he's not on commentary, the show is automatically bad. To me, commentators are interchangeable. Maybe not Michael Cole, like he really is very, very like integrated with WWE culture at this point. But hell, I thought the same thing about JR, and I got over JR. It's kind of like ring announcers. I never understood why so many people were so sad when like Samantha left or somebody else left and went on to go do something else. Like to me, like it's just a ring announcer. Like I can move on from that real quick. And I have commentators in the same vein. I don't know that if I'm in the majority or the minority there, that's just my personal opinion. But now that you pointed out, I think it would be cool to have Wade Barrett be on commentary, and I'd be curious if there is any mention of the League of Nations during that match. And if he is in that match, oh my God, absolutely, we need to have Rusev in some capacity interact with Wade Barrett. I would love to see that. But if it doesn't happen, this would have been something that I wouldn't have even noticed. WWE Survivor Series is closing in quickly, and I'm sure that you've already heard and expected that ticket prices are gonna get rather steep. I plan on going to the show this year, but between flights and accommodations, it's gonna get quite expensive, so I'm trying to cut down on costs by getting the most affordable show tickets possible. And I'll be doing that thanks to today's video sponsor, SeatGeek. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app, and for a very good reason. There are more than 70,000 events already listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sporting events, festivals, and more. And with SeatGeek, you can be sure that you're going to be getting the absolute best price for whatever seat that you want at whatever show you plan to attend. Every single WWE Premium Live event, as well as episodes of Raw, SmackDown, and WWE live show tickets are all available on SeatGeek as well. So make sure that you stop by there first before you buy your tickets so that you can make sure that you are getting the best possible price. Because SeatGeek actually shows you if you're getting a good deal or not on whatever ticket it is that you're browsing. So you're going to want to look for the tickets that have green dots, because green dots means good and red dots means a bad deal. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee as well, so you can buy without any sort of concerns. And you guys know that I came through for you, because you can use code SANTI10 for 10% off your next set of tickets over at SeatGeek. Again, that's 10% off any tickets with promo code SANTI10. So make sure that you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so that you can use it later. Thank you again to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. Now let's get you back to the wrestling that you came for. Roman Reigns defeating Bronson Reed. I pray that doesn't happen, because if that does, that continues to tell me that WWE doesn't care about the vision. The whole point of this is to help these two future pieces of WWE to flourish. To me, it's a must win. I am a little bit confused when you say that it will continue to tell you that WWE doesn't care about the vision. I haven't interpreted anything from WWE programming as them not caring about the vision. I feel like it's been quite the opposite. They've been booked incredibly strong over the last couple of months now. But I agree. I want to see Bronson Reed win here. However, I'm expecting Roman Reigns to win because it is Roman Reigns. I'm a believer that the correct choice here is easy and simple. It should be Bronson Reed winning. Now, I will say this wouldn't damage Clash in Paris for me, but I do think that Bronson Reed losing here damages future episodes of Monday Night Raw. It damages the vision, and it damages the excitement that the vision can generate for future shows like Survivor Series War Games. Like, if you want to get people hyped up for Survivor Series War Games, and if it's going to be the vision that's going to be the evil heel faction going into that show, then you need to make that evil heel faction look and feel as dangerous and as scary as possible. And if one of the three guys is taking L's left, right, and center, Steiner math tells us that that's 33.33% of the group taking L's, then it does damage the group as a whole. Not only does it damage the group, but it's gonna damage Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed finally found something. Bronson Reed had spent like a couple of months there just sort of being there, being just a big body for the vision to use. Let's face it, kind of being there to take the pins for the vision. But he's finally found a character. He's found something to be able to latch onto that's finally gotten over this tribal thief thing, the Shula Fala thing. He's finally got some merch about this tribal thief thing. And if he were to lose here, if Roman were to take his shoes back, if he were to lose the Shula Fala, then that cool gimmick that he's finally figured out and that cool gimmick that's gotten over with the fans, all of a sudden, poof, it disappears. It's gone. The tribal thief is no longer the tribal thief. The things that he stole are already back in the owner's possession. So I'm with you. I want to see Bronson Reed win. Again, I don't think that for me that ruins Clash in Paris. If anything, it's worse. It ruins future programming beyond Clash in Paris. As mid as the card is, with such few matches, I don't think it's possible for Clash to be ruined because of the Paris crowd. No matter what crap booking could, quote, ruin the show, the crowd will end up making one of the most memorable PLEs for years. That's fair, but I would assume that the crowd would be hype and excited the most if they're getting good programming, if they're getting good matches, if they're getting getting cool moments, etc. If they go out there and they put on a stinker, I also think that we have a crowd that could hijack the show and tell the world that they are watching something that's utter dog water, which would make WWE look so bad if they are just booing anything and everything out of the building if they don't put on a good show, because the Parisians over there, they look like the type to actually do that. And they've demonstrated that they are vocal. If there is something that they don't like, they will tell the world and then probably dictate the discourse after the show that, hey, if the Paris crowd thought it was shit, then I guess it was shit. But that also goes back to our earlier point. You kind of are making my point at the beginning where a lot of people are tuning in to this because we are expecting something special from the crowd. So the fact that they removed Dominic and AJ, one of the matches that would have made this crowd even more special, is already damaging one of the things that we tuned in for, the crowd. Logan winning cleanly. So aside from Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles not being on the card and Clash in Paris already being ruined in the eyes of many, this right here was the most popular answer. Logan Paul defeating John Cena clean. I did get a handful of people saying just Logan Paul winning in general, but I think that there is a big group of people that are kind of expecting Logan Paul to win because of interference from Brock Lesnar. And I feel like me and many other people would say, okay, I guess that's a fine way to allow Logan Paul to win. But if Logan Paul wins clean against John Cena, even I might have to throw up my hands here and change my shirt. That might actually ruin Clash in Paris for me as a huge John Cena fan. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big Logan Paul fan as well in WWE, but I can't have Logan Paul defeating John Cena clean here. No way, Jose. But yeah, far and away, this was one of the most popular answers that we received. Anything that is like Logan Paul winning will always be a top answer when it comes to these videos every single month. I just don't think that Logan Paul winning clean here makes any like real sense. I think that you can still catapult Logan Paul with a victory, with it being a dirty heel victory, because he can go around bragging about how he beat John Cena. And unlike Austin Theory and Solo Sikoa, he didn't get melted by John Cena on the microphone, so he can actually benefit from a victory, even if it is because of Brock Lesnar, because of interference from somebody else, whatever it might be. A clean victory against John Cena, though, I actually think might be too much for Logan Paul. I don't know that Logan Paul can bear the burden of defeating John Cena clean. I just don't know how he can follow that up. So again, I say beating John Cena because of shenanigans, that's one thing. I can get on board with that. Beating John Cena clean, I think tremendously hurts John Cena for the rest of his retirement tour. And in a way, I think it's just too big of a burden and too much of a weight on Logan Paul to be able to carry momentum moving forward. So yeah, sure, I guess I'll agree here. Logan Paul winning clean would also ruin Clash in Paris for me. Getting busy with my birthday activities and completely forgetting that it starts at 12 p.m. my time. Dude, you have no idea how many people are going to miss this show because they don't realize or understand the concept of time zones. I can't even tell you how many people have missed the most recent episodes of Raw and SmackDown because of this very thing. So don't forget that this starts way earlier if you are in North America. This starts at like traditional prime time if you happen to be in Europe. Wherever it is that you are around the world, just figure it out. And don't come to my live stream and ask me, Santi, I live in Zimbabwe. What time does Clash in Paris start? I don't know. Fucking Google it. Jey Uso wins. I just don't need to see that again for a while. I also think that he shouldn't have been in the match anyways. Look, I've come to peace with it. I also believe that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for him to be in the match, but Santi, it's his rematch clause. All right, where was Cody's rematch clause? Oh, wait, no, he had to win the King of the Ring. Where was Roman's rematch clause? Oh, wait, he hasn't even gotten a rematch, even though he held the title for like damn near 4 years. So the rematch clause is no longer a viable reason to just insert somebody into a match as far as I'm concerned. But I've come to peace with the decision to have Jey Uso there. I'm actually excited to see Jey Uso there, especially with how Monday Night Raw ended. I'm excited to see that entrance with the Paris crowd. I think it's going to be a tremendous amount of fun, but Jey Uso should not be winning this. Honestly, Seth Rollins it shouldn't be losing is the real answer. Jey Uso, right now, this is not his story to tell. Him being World Heavyweight Champion is not the correct story to tell as we go towards War Games. The correct story to tell is the Vision being powerful, the Vision being strong, the Vision being united, and it taking this grouping of Avenger-style unification of babyfaces coming together to take out the Vision at War Games. And Jey Uso winning here completely halts those plans and damages whatever story they can tell with the Vision moving forward. I think, yes, ESPN ruined Clash in Paris already. The card isn't strong, and all of the major stories are going to show up at WrestlePalooza. So I actually completely agree with this. It does sort of feel like WWE is just here for the zip line when it comes to Clash in Paris. They are just here to put on a bare minimum show so that they can go on to their ESPN deal and put on a huge show for their first show on ESPN, that being WrestlePalooza. In fact, I think that Clash in Paris is probably going to end with a big cliffhanger, probably Brock Lesnar and John Cena staring each other down. Maybe John Cena gets on the microphone and challenges Brock Lesnar at the end of Clash in Paris to WrestlePalooza so that the commentators can say WrestlePalooza on ESPN. You know the whole deal. But it feels like, for example, the Women's World Championship match, the Stephanie Vaquer match, I understand that the Naomi situation put a wrench in everything here, but like, it's not as if this happened like 3 days ago. They've had weeks to be able to organize something for Stephanie Vaquer, and it's very clear that they chose not to. It wasn't that they couldn't, it was apparent that they just didn't want to, probably because they want to award a new Women's World Champion at WrestlePalooza to continue to jack up that show. Cody Rhodes will be there instead of Clash in Paris. It's so evident that Clash in Paris is kind of getting the shit end of the stick as the last show on Peacock, and all of the cool stuff is going to ESPN and WrestlePalooza. Becky Lynch winning again. I'm so sick of her as IC champion. I know people don't like Nikki Bella, but at least she hasn't held the title in a long time, and it would be something new and refreshing. I mean, I think that Becky Lynch being the IC champion is new and refreshing. What, she's been champion since like June? Like, it hasn't been that long since Becky Lynch has held the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I don't know how you can already be getting sick of what I think is not a particularly long reign yet, a fruitful reign where we see a champion participating in matches and feuds, backstage segments, literally every single episode of Monday Night Raw, being active on every PLE. I don't know how you can get tired of that. And right now, I think that she is the best heel in women's WWE at the moment too. I'm personally not ready for her to lose the championship. I think it would be a huge shock and a huge disservice to have Becky Lynch drop this championship this early. I totally get what you're saying. You know, Nikki Bella would be new-ish in terms of holding titles to the WWE because it's been a really long time. The mid-card title going from one future Hall of Famer to a current Hall of Famer, that's a pretty cool lineage for the title to have, but I just don't think it's the right time. I think Becky Lynch, the place she should lose this is at this point, because the reign has been so good, in my eyes, should be WrestleMania. Travis Scott. Guys, I know, you guys can breathe easy. I know there's a lot of PTSD from everything that happened at WrestleMania 41, all the rumors post WrestleMania 41 that he was going to show up with The Rock, that he was going to tag team with John Cena. I think, and I don't want you to take this as gospel, I think that we are free and clear from Fiend. I think we're going to be all right. No women's title match between Stephanie and any other women on the roster really frustrates me. You could have literally made a tournament for someone to face Stephanie at Clash. You could have had Chelsea Green, Lyra, Rhea, Io, Bianca, or Jade, just to name a few. So you fall under the camp that the show has already been ruined, because there is an episode of Friday Night SmackDown left. Maybe they could announce another women's match. Maybe they change their mind and put Stephanie Vaquer versus somebody else, but it's already been announced that it's not going to happen at Clash in Paris. I think it sucks, predominantly because I really thought that the crowd could help Stephanie Vaquer's winning moment feel super, uber, mega special and help elevate her for the next episodes of Monday Night Raw leading to future shows. Because I just don't think that her winning a WrestlePalooza is going to garner the same type of crowd cheer and response as it would have had she won in Paris. So by default, I think that her championship match and potential championship victory is just not going to feel as cool. But again, I think that this is entirely a financial decision to put more things that are must watch for fans at WrestlePalooza so that you can go from Peacock to ESPN and pay those 30 doubloons. Making LA Knight take the pin and having him be the weakest out of the four. Already lost to Braun, so they should let him look strong and not take the pin. You know what? I kind of agree with this. I feel like LA Knight has already eaten enough shit in the build up to this, especially on that most recent episode of Monday Night Raw where both CM Punk and Jey Uso kind of clowned him. He got pinned by Braun Breaker. Look, let this man breathe a little bit. Let this man not necessarily stand tall, because I don't think any of us are expecting him to win, but he doesn't need to eat this pin here, guys. Something that will ruin the show for me will most likely happen, and that's Brock Lesnar appearing. Juan, I think that you should already consider this show ruined for you, because I'm with you. I think think it's most likely happening. In fact, I think it's a certainty. I think that we are going to get Brock Lesnar almost as a sure thing. Not to entertain the masses at Clash in Paris, not to make you happy for having that Peacock subscription, but to entice you to go get that ESPN subscription for Brock Lesnar versus John Cena at good old WrestlePalooza. But I know a lot of people, aren't happy with Brock Lesnar returning. I honestly, when it comes to Brock Lesnar, I've never been a Brock Lesnar fan. So him being back kind of like got a little bit of a groan out of me. But hey, whatever. He's back. He's a huge draw. Fans are going to go crazy over him. I would have been fine without him. I'm telling you, man, I don't know how people can forget so quickly about the terrible booking of Brock Lesnar in 2010. Well, maybe terrible is the wrong word. Amazing for him, where he got to be a part-time top champion for the majority of the time and hijack the championship and wouldn't lose to the younger guys that people wanted to see go over. Brock Lesnar in the 2010s, man, needs to be studied. A lot of people talk about Triple H's reign of terror. Not enough people talk about the 2010s Brock Lesnar reign of terror. It's the reason I'm not a big fan of his. But yeah, he's showing up, dude. 100% he's showing up. If the crowd isn't that loud. I know that that's so simplistic, but it's true because we've created this massive expectations out of the Paris crowd. So if you are in the crowd, just know that we are watching you intently. There is a microscope on you, and you need to be the greatest crowd of all time because that's what we're expecting around the world. Again, we aren't just tuning in to see the wrestling. Many of us are tuning in to see the crowd. So Paris, deliver. I know you will. The fourth member of the Vision not being revealed. So a lot of people believe that now is the time. Now is the moment for the Vision to expand. And hey, the last time that they were in France, a big faction were able to expand with the debut of the infamous Tongaloa. So maybe it'll become a tradition where the heel faction gets bigger every time that they go to France. I don't know. I don't know that I would be hurt whether or not there's a new member of the Vision or not. I think what's most important is who the member of the Vision ends up being, because if it ends up being like, I don't know, No Way Jose or Fandango, I'd be like, oh yeah, this kind of ruined Clash in Paris. I think it is really important who it ends up being to create that big ooh, shock and awe moment. All right, folks, thank you so much for submitting in your negativity. You know that I love to munch on some negativity from time to time, but I'll see you guys later. You guys take care. Goodbye. Get out of here.